All right, today is the 17th, 8 p.m. Today is Sunday. We are going to go do full market here. Let's talk over from last week's trades. USDCHF as our first trade here. Beautiful, beautiful breakout. You can see price created a low or high and a lower low. It gave us our right shoulder, created a break of structure, BOS, shift of structure on the 4 hour, new high in the market, new high, new low. Also on our, it's also a head and shoulders pattern. Neckline retest on a two leg, one leg, two leg. The only downfall on this is entry right here happened at about 2 in the morning, 2:45 in the morning here. And I was asleep. So right at London market open, I missed this trade as I fell asleep waiting for it. Beautiful entry possibility. Price came back, slapped right into an area of interest here. Let's go to the 1 hour. You can see very solid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches here, 6 touches. Very solid on the one leg, two leg pullback. You see it faked us out with a head and shoulders potential, but knowing the higher time frame structure, this was an absolute beautiful trade. This is the one that we've been waiting for weeks, this beautiful setup. And you guys are the ones who pointed this out. So if you got that last week, wonderful. This is exactly what swing trading is all about. Waiting for this trade right here. 4 hour setup, beautiful, down to the 1 hour entry. And we just missed it. Like I said, we fell asleep, missed London push, and then that would have been entry. Stops below previous low, below our 4 hour decisional, or right below the right here. Zoom back out again here, 4 hour. Right below our previous low on the 4 hour. And as you can see, if we would have continued to hold this, we would be at a 1 to 8 right now. So this was a trade that we missed that we've been sitting on and waiting. Beautiful rejection off of a daily level here. Once again, let's zoom back out to the daily. Look at this. Beautiful daily level. Now, yes, was it a little bit risky knowing that we had a potential head and shoulders? This could have been a fake out, look at left head on the higher time frame, right? We knew that there's still imbalance here that needed to be pulled back and filled. We knew that this was a solid level and I had a nice rejection. We knew that price pushed and created a new high on the lower time frames, which then broke our previous high. You can see, let's zoom in. Look at this. Shift of structure right there. Higher, lower high, lower low. Price broke, created a new high in the market. This was a daily candle. Our daily went bullish above our 4 hour area of interest with our inverted boom 1-2. Okay, that is the number one setup. And then USD JPY. This was more of a trend continuation trade. This one was a little bit more riskier. As you can see, we did not take this trade off this level, but that was my predicament, was to see price break above our EMA, swoop below. We were creating a very nice trend line. And I was just, as soon as we broke this high, I was looking along all the way up into here. As you can see, no really entry was given. It literally just broke above, had a huge spike to the downside, which would have wicked us out anyways, and then took off. No entry, no entry confirmation other than trend continuation. We could have got in at some point in a London session or a New York session. But once again, like this was New York session on Thursday when it gave us our entry, market open, dump, and then repush to the upside. So this trade was a miss. This would have been a potential stop loss, just straight to the stop loss. So great trade idea. No setup there for us. So, yep. Next one. NZD alarms didn't go off. We were waiting for the pullback, which means now we know that all this imbalance is in here. If this continues to drop, to the next low, that's the next target. We already know that this is the next target. So we can see the rejection back up in here. We'll be still waiting for the potential continuation here. So alarms are still valid. We're just going to bring them back down here a little bit, but we'll go over that. NZD CAD here, no pullback on the 4 hour, 1 hour happened during Asia session, but wasn't even a full pullback. Entry missed on this potential sell setup. Beautiful trade though. Just no entry. All right, NZD USD waited for an entry to push for the buys. We were completely wrong on this one. So trade loss avoided. Loss avoided on Euro GBP as well, as we were completely wrong early on. All right, I believe those are all the trades that we were watching last week. EU here, I think this was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, didn't take that. All right, so let's start from the top. Let's get after it. Starting with a full breakdown of everything now. USD CHF, as of now, I do see a pullback to this level to the next high. So I'm going to take this, bring it back here. Let's go down to the 4 hour. Let's see here. Yeah, so this is now going to be our decisional here. Right here, this is our decisional. This is where we're looking for price and target. Price could have a deep pull to this 4 hour imbalance. So this will be like my main. This one I'm not as worried about. This one right here, this one's kind of junky, so I'm really not too concerned. But if anything, this one is a possibility. So I'm gonna take my alarm, I'm gonna put it here. We're gonna go down to our 1 hour. We're gonna see what's at this level. Okay, there is a previous imbalance here, which now I would consider a nice area of interest. Okay, just like that. Boom, across the board. Remember, these are our sells that our buys that we took stop loss 2 weeks ago. So basically, we're playing the next level. The same buys that we had on here from the same level that we took that just actually went lower, right? That actually took off here. We're just doing the next thing. Look at what is the next target? Boom, price broke above, created a new high, pullback. Okay. Now, is it going to pull back down here? Is it going to pull it back up here? That's for you to judge. That's for you to wait and put your own entry on. But I know that I'm more interested in the target that was left behind. So I want to see price pull back, have a rejection off its previous area of interest. All right. None of the, that little 15 one mattered, but none of this stuff matters down here anymore. Okay. We don't want anything below this level. Anything below this level is pretty much dead to us. So we can make this one flipped. Let's go to the daily. Yeah, anything really below that level is kind of dead to us. So see how I did that on the lower time frame? And now what does it match up to? A daily area of interest. And I just drew it from the 1 hour time frame. It matches up perfect to a daily. So now we know that it was actually we have it all the way. That daily area of interest pinpointed to a 1 hour time frame. Right there. So we know anything below that's dead. So I'll be looking for an entry from here, potentially. That's where my maximum stop loss is going to be. And there's my take profit. Look at that, 1 to 3. Literally just playing trend continuation to this level here. I'm not this from here to here. That's a stretch. That's greed. That's high risk. That's playing for the extra coin, right? That's taking this and trying to reach to get that. Okay. I get it. Worth it. Sometimes you got to play the levels though. Okay. Just know that if price does push up to here, where our original take profit is, there's a reason why this is our take profit zone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. That's a strong area of interest, and we're just below it. Okay. Which means price is going to have the rejection, bullish push, the potential pullback to the next level to then have the next push. Okay. So if you really want to chase that, just know you're going to have to go from at your take profit to potentially losing it all. So, or you just take your take profit, take your 1 to 3, and wait for the valid setup at the next way at the next level. And that's how you play trend. Okay, so that's my setup for USD CHF here. We're playing higher time frame trend continuation. We're seeing nice pushes off of here on the daily. You can see we're having solid rejections. This is this is now your new low. This is your external high, your external low. Okay. This is the top of the hill. This is the bottom of the hill. This is your lower high. This is your lower low on the higher time frames. We're now having the next bullish push. Okay, that's the next target. That's the next target. Price is now going to have a pullback to retest this area of interest to then chase the next high to have a trend continuation. Or it hits this level, which is also a weekly level. Okay. So it could have the rejection and then shoot right back down. But I just know now that I have that marked on the weekly, I just know that those are my boundaries. This level, this is my boundary for my bottom. This is my boundary for my top. I know the targets, I know the play, I know what I want to see, I know what I want to do. So now we just wait. Next one, USD JPY. Starting on the weekly. Weekly is currently, let's just start over. Let's delete this. I think this is going to continue up to it. I think it was just having a trend line rejection. And I think we're just knowing JPY pairs from experience. When JPY pairs do this, they always do this. When it just dumps, for some reason JPY always done that. Look at the history. Look at dump, push. Huge dump, pulls back. Right. I mean, obviously trends go up, you know what I mean? But every time JPY pair has a huge push, like a big push, not just because it goes up, it goes down. It refills it. Boom. That's just kind of what I've noticed over, I'm trading it for a while. So I don't know if this is going to come back. If what I'm basically is what I'm saying. If we want to find a trade in this, we're going to have to go lower time frame. And honestly, I'm not really interested in that. Like this was already a high risk just looking at it in the first place. So USD JPY, sorry, you're off my list. That's not, yeah, JPY pairs suck. NZD JPY, maybe a pullback into here. Yeah. Just go to the weekly. Inverted head and shoulders. Could see a sell off to dig a little bit deeper to grab and bounce to the upside. Bring in our EMA for a nice rejection. Daily low, daily high, external low, shifted. Haven't broke this high yet. Daily's bearish. 4 hours bearish. Yeah, I just really not interested in this one. Unless it does what it does, but as of now, really not interested. NZD CAD, great sell off. Weekly is bearish. Let's wipe screen. Daily's bearish. 4 hour. I would potentially just wait for the pullback, but honestly, I don't think it's going to be a pullback. I think buys are going to be in state, but this would be against the trend. Let's see here, daily. This is the previous daily low. If we're not counting this little daily wick, this is the low. This is the high on the externals. This is your internal high and your internal low, right? So this is just, but looking at the externals, this is the push that created the new high in the market. This has created the bullish push. It wasn't this push. It was this push. Once again, it wasn't this push that created the high. It was this push that created the high. Okay, so this is your external high. This is your external low, internal high, internal low, right? Um, but look at this. Look at this. What do you notice? Right? Okay. I don't think the sells are next. I think the buys actually make more sense. It's risky because you're way against the trend. Well, yeah, I mean, look at the big picture, yeah, but I think the buys out of here, I think if we can find lower time setup, that the possibility of the longs back up are actually greater. As long as we stay, yeah, as long as we stay above this level. Anything below this, I'm not interested. But if we have even but if we do this, make our way down in here, break below, break above, break below, break above, that's fine. I don't care if it doesn't need to be perfect. I just needs to be above this level. So this is a good one too. Density, watch two, and wait for solid flows above area I. Look for buys. That's not bad. NCD USD. Weekly is bearish. I like that too, kind of. Not imbalanced on there though. Yeah, yep. Nope. I'm not interested in the buys. I think not this is not the same as the last one because you could be considered like, oh, it made a new low, but what it did is also created a new low, right? See how it didn't hasn't created a new low? This has created a new low. This is your previous high, previous low. Boom, broke below. Dug a little deep. I think this is could come all the way back down here. And this could be a head and shoulders pattern on the weekly. Oh shoot. Daily. Daily we have broke. We have a nice imbalance. The daily has been poked into, but I'm sure there's lower time frame here. There's a bunch of imbalance up here. 4 hour. Let's get rid of this. Make this your decisional. This is your low. This is your high. There's multiple levels in this though. You have this level. This could be a decisional, right? This could be your decisional. Or this could be decisional. There's four levels, right? Four chances for you to enter, right? Do you want maybe this to be your imbalance? You want this one to be your imbalance? Or do you want, this one right here? Like there's so many chances. And as a swing trader, our target is either this one or this one. Because why? Our stops are always above the previous high. So if we entered in here, potentially like that, our take profit has to be down to here. See the previous low or our take profit? See how it just works out that way. It just out 1 to 3. Simple and easy, right? Or if you got it down to here, you have a potential to get your 1 to 5 point, 1 to 6. But if we're playing it safe and got our 1 to 3, we are literally just poking below this level right here, which could easily cause a rejection, as this is the low of the market. High, your 4 hour high, your 4 hour low, your internal high, and your internal low, right? So I'm waiting for the pullback around here. I actually want this imbalance here. I'm not really concerned about this one or this one. That's my target. That gap, that imbalance, like that. So then I can have a little something like this. And then now I am just cresting this area of interest potential. This area, 1, 2, 3 touches. This is my bottom. This is my target. This is where I'm looking to take my profit. Right there. Anything below that level is extra. So if you hold for this, that's all extra and dangerous, high risk. I like this one. Like that. I don't even have to go down to the 1 hour yet. Yeah, I'm not even interested. Like it literally has to pull back all the way up in here before I'm interested. Like on the 1 hour here, I can fine tune it to this box. So we already know there's imbalance right here. 15-minute, you can even just fine tune it to this little box right here, right? Or this little one right here, but same level. That's where I'm looking to enter my trade. In this level here. All right. Euro GBP. Next one. This looks terrible. It looks like it's either going to break above, create a new high this week. I would rather wait, or it's going to get stuck in consolidation here and get stuck in here for a week. So weekly is currently bearish. Daily's had a big bullish push. Uh, yeah, let's delete and start fresh. Back to daily. This is your daily level. Anything below this, you don't want nothing to do with. Daily or flipped. Okay. Nothing to do with at that level. Don't like that it created a new low. But see, 4 hour. Let's see. Daily had an inverted a little bit, little action, but I would say I would wait for a pullback to this level here at this imbalance on the 4 hour. Huge, but I would wait to absolute bottom. I wouldn't even think about this one down here. I would look for anything low risk. You can have your stops right below here and just take it to the top. It's a low risk because you know what I mean? Don't be in and out of this one quick scalp, but it could be a complete bust. This is a 1 hour, 15-minute trade entry. So am I watching? NZDCHF. Huh. All right. Weekly is bearish. Daily is bearish. You know, 4 hour, super bearish. Lots of imbalance. Next target. And then next target. I think this one's risky. I don't feel the energy behind it, but so what I'm thinking is if this is the right shoulder this week, or playing the weekly head and shoulders here, right? If this is the pullback, there is a chance that we see on the weekly a wick up like that, and we're playing the wick end on the weekly where it just goes and then ends up being a big sell week candle. But you can see how big wick up actually closed way down here. So going on to the daily, looking at the imbalance, as you can see, we created a new low in the market, lower high, lower low. This is your, if we're using this level here, but using the externals, external high, external low, you can see that we did shift completely and we are looking to create new bearish structure. We have two levels, two targets. The next lower low in the market, which would be here. This is your external high. This is your internal high. This is your internal low. This is your external low, right? The highest point is your external. The next highest point is your internal, like the next area of interest. So here, this level, and then here, this level, and then your internal low is this level. And then your external here low is this level. Okay. So I'm looking for a pullback into our internal high read zone, which is this area of interest right here. Looking for a pullback there. That's your area of interest. This would be my boundary for my upper level. I wouldn't want anything above this. If I'm looking for the shorts, if it breaks above this, not good. That means that's where our stop loss location is going to go. Anything above that, we don't want. And we know that this is the next target. This is the biggest target. Okay, at this point, we already know that this trade does not make sense. So 1 to 2, or it's a 1 to 1.87. So in order for me to take it, I would have to have a huge deep pullback. So in order for me to take it, to risk my normal amount, would be this right here. So I would have to wait until price pulled all the way up into here, gave an entry. Okay, so that's what I would wait for, even though I know that anything above here are playing in funny zone. They could go south because that is our daily area of interest. Okay, we would want to make sure daily candle, wick this in, whatever. So I would be interested in a setup in this zone. Price goes up, tag gave us structure, grab on the entry, have the trend continuation. Head and shoulders, one leg or left head break, inducement, pullback, second leg, inducement, right shoulder, break, look to enter, right? This entry is more of a neckline retest zone, but stops at previous high. All right, simple entry, waiting for that. GU. Weekly is bullish. This could be another NZD CAD play. So we know that anything below this level right here is not good, right? We know that if we break this low, we are officially, this is the lowest point from the previous high. So remember, this is the bullish push. We're looking at a daily. This is your low, this is your high. So we know anything below this is not good. Go to the weekly, we see that our weekly is actually bullish and we have our looking to continue to bullish push. This is the previous high, this is the previous low or external high, external low, internal high, internal low. We did break, create structure, but failed to create the external low. And then before we flipped and went bullish again. So we know that if it breaks this low, we are going to have the trend continuation and it is now chasing lows. As of now, we know that there's going to be a target in this level for a price to potentially reject and have the next high. So we know that this is going to be our target for our take profit, this level here. All right, so let's go down to the daily is bearish, super bearish. I don't think that's going to be ready this week. Looking at the daily. So what we're going to need on the daily is potentially, which in a perfect world, let's say in a perfect world. So we have a bullish candle, bullish candle, bullish candle, bullish candle. See how it's going to create a BOS, right? It's going to create a BOS and then creates a BOS to the upside, induce it. And now we're waiting for our entry signal, right? So 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day. This could be a Friday or a Thursday setup trade. Don't get caught in this. We want to wait for structure. Now, it might not be just like that. It might be candle, 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 right? Right on top of each other. And you don't even notice that it's actually making structure in the lower time frame. That's why we go to the 4 hour and we wait for the same thing. We see this, we find the structure as we go lower in time. So we need a lot of structure starting with the 1 hour before I'm interested. All right. But I like this trade overall. I like the idea of this trade taking off, but I think it needs a lot of work still. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw what we wanted to see, and then we're going to set alarms. I'm going to set an alarm here, and then go from there. Actually, I'm gonna put this in my B team for just watch. GU or EU, we know that this is correlated. So let's kind of compare. EU is actually more cleaner for this, is cleaner for the sells. GU is cleaner for the buys. Okay. So what's gonna take over? This looks like it's been filled. The next target for EU is down here. Okay, you can also see that we're at a really nice weekly level right there. GU. Look at under GU, we're right at a really nice weekly level too, but we're breaking below the weekly level. Okay. EU, we're above the weekly level. Okay, not good. But GU is ultimately bearish on the weekly, and we've had the rejection at the high in the market. Right, go down to daily. See, we have a double top configuration. We know that this is a nice daily level from the previous high, previous low. We can grab our area of interest right here. Zoom in a little bit more. Cleaner screen. All right. Strong daily level right around here. Okay. And we know that anything above that is off limits. We don't want anything above that if we're going to sell. 4-hour has a head and shoulders. We have broke below previous low, and we are now targeting and filling this imbalance. Okay. All this imbalance that was right here is now fully filled. Now we want to start correlating with GU again and knowing the same thing. Looking at the 4-hour, look at GU, look at EU, and look at GU. They both have sold off. They're both at a level of resistance on the 4-hour that could have a reversal. This is the lowest point in the market. We know that anything below this, we do not want to sell on GU. And we know that anything above this, we don't want to buy, or we don't want to sell. GU, anything below this, we're not gonna buy. We're looking for the sells. Anything below this, we're looking for the sells. We're not looking for the buys. There, I said it right there. So if we break above, we're looking for the buys. We also notice that this is your low. This is the next low. Okay, there is no more imbalance below here besides this little bit here. Let me draw it. So we know our levels. This imbalance is toast. Get rid of this. New imbalance is down here. We know the next target, and we know that a lot more to go. If we're going to have a rejection, they both need a pullback. They both need a pullback. EU has a head and shoulders and an area, nice decisional. So why don't you compare both? We both know that both need to buy, but we know that GU has a buy level of right here to buy. EU doesn't really have a buy level. As you can see, there is a nice area of interest right here. It could reject, have the buys, could reject, have the buys. We know that this is a strong daily level. See how I'm putting these together? What makes more sense? To have the sells off of here, to have the buys. They are correlated. They're going to follow each other. What is the next target? And I think, personally, I think GU is going to have the buys out of here, potentially. But I'm interested in both. To watch, to study, I would have to wait for an entry potentially up here for EU to sell. And then for GU, once again, I'm waiting for a push above or actually price to come even lower. I don't think we're going to fill this imbalance. If we do, that'd be very impressive. Next one. Any thoughts on that? GN. Yes, fresh. Looking at the weekly here, you can see that we are bearish. Nice weekly rejection. Weekly high. Weekly low. Yeah, let's make this smaller. Like that. All right, so there's your weekly low. Daily. Okay, GCAT, perfect. I don't really like it, honestly. I'm going extra slow on these to try to break it down better. Otherwise, I'd be flying through these really quick, but I want to make sure I do an accurate breakdown on them. weekly, daily, daily levels here. We're having a nice rejection there at a daily area of interest with our EMA as well, rejection with the break to the downside. I don't see any targets for price to the downside on the 4 hour. I think the sells on this would be risky, just because trend is bullish for the most part. Well, I guess it did break. See the trend line right here, it did break below, but this level right here held really good. So looking, we're at the next level. So we, like I said, if you're looking at, if you're trading a weekly chart, you know, that's the next target right here, which is a huge level. So I think it's continue. I think we're going to continue bullish overall. But I just don't really see anything to the downside. I don't really see anything for us that's any good to the downside, honestly. I see potential imbalance targets. Let's delete. Let's let's delete that and put actually, yeah, let's delete that. We'll remarket here. So all we did is we took that big zone that we had marked on the higher time frame. We just brought it down to the 4 hour and marked it and fine tuned it. So anything below this, we know that that's the no-go zone. We don't want anything below that. If we're gonna have the trend continuation all the way down to a 4 hour, I don't think it's gonna pull back down here. There's no sense for it to target on higher time frame targets. They have all been filled. I'm sure there is like lower time targets down here. We'll see. No, they all been filled. See that? There's no imbalances for us to target. So yeah, that's my level. That's my safety level. My stop loss is going to be below that. 15 minute, there might be something in here. There's a little something right there. A little something right there. So that's your safety net. That's why your stop loss is going to be, a little bit larger because you have that one. I'm not going to even count that one. So if you took the entry off this, I'd probably go below here, look the target here, see where it's at. Hope to see the breakout to the upside because if it breaks and if it breaks up to the upside, right? The next target, this is your stop. This is like your break even spot on the higher time frame when you bring your stops in tight and then you shoot for this imbalance right here. That's your main target to fill all this imbalance here like that. And you get your 1 to 3 right there at that level. So, and if you're swinging it, that's the big deal. But if that's going to take off, that's where you're looking to enter. I like that, which then gives you a 4 hour inverted head and shoulders. Okay, so let's draw it out here. Right, you have your low, you have your high, price broke, created a new low, boom, created a new low, right? Inducement, bullish push, BOS, or shift to structure, right? Now we're having a pullback, which then creates your inducement, which then gives you your 2 leg BOS, right? And then that's your weekly swing. That's what you're playing as well, which makes sense for your weekly. If you're trading a weekly trade, it aligns with everything that we're looking for on the weekly. And so that means you can double down potentially on the neckline retest here, which would then be your two leg protocol, which is your original entry. So you can enter once here, high risks, do what you need to do and do it on your own. But boom, that's what I would see. I would wait for that setup. I think that's beautiful. So I'll wait for the imbalance tag, wait for your lower time entry, wait for price to come in here and do what it needs to do, which you know what to do. Wait for the um wait for the bullish push and then continue to run. I like that. Put that in my top pairs. What did I just do? Oops. Okay, there we go. All right, next one, GCAD. All right. Dallas, I see you got something on this one here, similar to GU. Maybe too far gone, but perfect trade for 4 hour two leg to come into bounce objectives, no balance to target on the downside. All right, let's break it down. So on the weekly here, you can see that we are below our weekly area of interest, below our weekly EMA. We're actually bearish. Daily, we're bearish as well. Double top here. We have created a new low in the market. This is your high. This is your low. We have broke below, right? Which is exactly what we want to see. Go to the 4 hour. We know that we have a trend line of liquidity that needs to be filled. On your 4 hour, we have a left head, right shoulder. Break, break. So absolutely beautiful, exactly what we're looking for. And a great opportunity for imbalance. So price needs to pull back all the way back up in here. We have a lot of imbalance. A lot of imbalance. Okay, so this would be a trade. I don't like that we would be above this level. Let's go to the daily here. So this is your weekly level. And then there's also a daily level right here as well. So we're going to put that here. We're going to get rid of this bar. Now we're not playing. We got rid of the weekly area of interest. That's what that was. If you want to mark it, you totally can. But I don't want to look at it. I know that there is an area of interest right here. I know that's a weekly area of interest right there. Just be aware of that area of interest. On the 4 hour, we now have our decisional marked from the daily. Remember, this is a daily area of interest that now marked our decisional. So our decisional is at this point, which is also the neckline retest on our left head, right shoulder, inducement BOS, right? Inducement BOS, left head break, right shoulder break, waiting for the two leg protocol, wait for the pullback. Exactly. That's exactly what you have. And I think that is absolutely gorgeous. I think that pullback is possible. I think this is where we need to see it. And I wouldn't have accepted anything else. I think that was exactly what needs to happen. So good job on that trade markup. Setting my alarm here. Beautiful. Go to the 4 hour again to confirm. Trade idea is what we're looking at here. Let's go to the 4 hour. So we'd be entering off the 4 hour, entry around here, stop loss above. First target is this low for a 1 to 2, knowing that if we look left, you can see that this is a strong area of interest and there is going to be rejection here. So based on entry, we know we don't want anything into here. We'll make this black. Anything below this is extra coin, dangerous, whatever. There is a chance that this low does get taken, but we know that this is where we are looking to take profits. So we can stretch it a little bit tighter and potentially get a 1 to 2 out of this. Make it a little bit tighter on the stop loss and get your 1 to 2.7 to 1 to 3. It all depends on where your entry is and where your stop loss is, but I think this is a very valid, beautiful setup. Next one, USD CAD. All right, looking at this weekly is bullish, higher high, higher low. We're at a weekly level we broke above. This is a weekly level here that we have now broken above. and we're having a rejection of our weekly EMA. So weekly is bullish. We're going to delete these and delete this. Daily is bullish as well. I'm not really liking this one that much to myself, honestly. 4 hours bullish. The next target would be here if we're playing weekly longs to play trend continuation, playing the weekly. This is our level. Anything below this, we no longer are interested in. Let's go to the daily again, fine tune it. Anything below this level, we're really not interested in. All right, we're building our walls, is what we're doing. Let's go to our 4 hour, anything. The only we're looking for a potential entry off of this level is the only place we would look for a trend continuation. Decisional at this point. We know that there's imbalance. We know that our target is this high. We'd be looking for an entry possibly like this. 1 to 3's there. Cut it to a 1 to 3. Yeah, we just go to our 1 to 3. Right there, we know that there is a valid zone here. That price is going to bound to have some sort of a rejection. So mark this as an area of interest or SMT. You know that price is going to reject off this level. We just have to be prepared. All right, so this is nothing. This is just pure trend continuation. Price you can see is actually tending to be a left head right shoulder. So you have your left head break, right? One leg pullback, 2 leg. Here's your pullback. There's a chance to have the way pullback. There's 2 entry possibilities. Um, but just remember on a 2 leg protocol, there needs to be 2 pullbacks. So if you get in on the first leg, right? If you hit this on the first leg, you already know that in order to even take your original entry, you wait for the second leg. So you already know that the price is going to go up, price is going to go down. Okay, you have to be prepared for that. That's why we wait for the second entry, safest route, because it already went up and went down once. We wait for the second time it goes up to come back down, right? At the same entry. It might not be this low again. It might be right here. Okay, so it's all preference on you, what you can handle, how to do it, and how you do it. Okay. But I do like this trade opportunity. We're looking to fill all this imbalance, potentially take it to all the way to the upside. Setting my alarm down here. All right. Next one, AUD USD. Weekly is currently bearish, actually, but all out of whack. Kind of out of the picture. Daily is bearish. I don't really like this one. Oh, I actually think this is going to continue to sell lower. I think it is. I could reject here though, but I'm not really a big fan of this one. Next one, AUD JPY. See you later, man. I'll get this uploaded. Mm, Daily here is bearish. 4 hour pullback. Yeah, I'm really not interested in this one either. GBP AUD. Weekly's bearish at level. Yeah, this one already looks bad too. Could have a nice daily pullback to have a trend continuation to the downside. What's the next target here? So we know that very bottom daily, we're having rejection of this area. This is a very valid zone. I don't think that's the right one. I think it's here. I like this level better. I think we go a little bit lower before we have a next bullish push. I think we target these lows on the daily. So let's go back and zoom in, make this zone. So I think I'm interested in the sells, the trend continuation here. I would be interested in price coming back into this level here. There's actually an imbalance right here. This is where I would look to enter. Imbalance, stop loss. I would kind of split the difference, go to up here, look to target this low here. Like that. However, this would be an intraday scalp. This is quick, a couple hours. Hopefully you get this in one day. So I would, like I said, I'm just waiting for the pullback into here. Stops would be above this high, but you actually don't need to take it all the way down. I'd be interested in, my 1 to 3. And if I actually went tighter on my stop loss, I'd be more realistically about there, waiting for my entry. Next one, Euro AUD. Let's see. Weekly level, bearish, daily, 4 hour. Okay, daily. Daily hasn't closed bullish yet, but and it did create a new low. Yeah, I'm really not interested in this one. AUDCHF. Yeah, I mean, this could be a weekly level rejection. Like the next step could be to sell, right? This could be the next lower high, and it could chase these lows, right? Just looking at the weekly, that's a possibility. You have your left head, right shoulder break, neckline retest on this, right? This is a daily. You can see once again, head, left, head, break right here. See how it broke? Pull back, right shoulder, break. See how it broke? This is your neckline retest, right? On the daily. Okay. So, which is also your weekly area of interest. But your 4 hour has broken below, right? Created a new low in the market. We have left imbalance here for price to come back and target. We know that from the previous high to the previous low, which is lower high, lower, this is your BOS, so lower high, lower low, created a new low here. We're not going to grab our imbalance from there. So I don't like our decision. I'm not imbalance or decisional. I actually like the push from here to here. So I'm going to grab my decisional inside of here like this, like that. Go decisional. I'm going to get rid of my weekly level because I know it's there. We'll just keep it there. It's light blue. So now we're looking in here. We know that we want to see a pullback. We know that we want to see this imbalance filled, which means that it has to go bullish. Okay. So now we're looking and know that actually the imbalance is this big and it has been filled. We already know that we have a daily area of interest right here. So we know that nothing above this, if we go above this, where, this is the low, this is the low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Anything above this level here, I'm no longer interested in the sells. I'm okay with price coming up in here, bouncing around. But once we break back below, I'm looking for the two leg out of here to the downside. So if it breaks above this area of interest, I'm no longer interested in the sells. But if it can stay in between here and then break back below, I'll be looking to then sell from, once again, the previous high down to where we need to go. Let's go to the 4-hour and know that our next target is down, right? We have to find where we would want to sell to. Where's a good level? We know that this is a previous low for the next bullish push. Okay, we know there's a very nice strong area of interest, so I wouldn't push this one. I would go for my 1, 2, 3. This is high risk. This is quick. This is risky. So kind of just watching this one. Next one is GBP CHF. Left head, right shoulder break. We had the sells from last week. Beautiful, beautiful sell off. Go to the weekly. Really rejection. We're gonna have the trend continuation. We could have the pullback to then continue to sell. So there's some balance here. Find your decisional. We know that this is a strong zone. Price is rejecting this level. Make this as your decisional. We know that we have imbalance. You know that we have imbalance on the 1-hour here. So this will be your target. Like this, balance, that. Wait for the retest to then sell. This is a high risk. Remember, this is all the way down to the 1-hour. So we go here, stops below previous high. Like the 4-hour. Know that we're targeting these lows. This, see, does it make sense for the sell there? No, it does not. So if we wanted to sell, we would have to swing it for 1 to 3, which then becomes dangerous. I'm not a big fan of this trade. I'm not a big fan at all of this trade. I don't think it's worth the risk. Next one, this is my junk pile. GJ. Yeah. And EJ, yeah. All right, so now here's my playlist here. USD CHF waiting for the pullback to then buy. NZD CHF waiting for the pullback, waiting for the bullish push. Actually, I want to see this actually buy. So once again, waiting for some sort of entry, previous low to then take out the next high, like that. NZD USD waiting for the pullback to then sell. GN waiting for the pullback to then buy, which is also on top of a weekly. GCAD waiting for the pullback to then sell. AUSD waiting for the pullback to then buy. GAUD waiting for the pullback to then sell. Euro GBP waiting for the pullback to then buy. NZD CHF pullback to then sell. AUD CHF waiting for the pullback to then sell. So I'd organize my top pairs. USD CHF my number one. Not that one. NU, it's a good one too. GN, gotta get rid of all these drawings. GN's a good one too. I like GN. Keep that there. Okay. GCAT, not that great. GVAD. Okay. All right. That's my list there. Okay. And then GU looking for the buy out of here as well. I like the potential buys out of here. Somewhere in this, somewhere in here. Like so. All right. That is my list. Gold. Let's see here. Gold is holding at this level here. We could see a nice buy opportunity or the trend continuation to continue to sell. But as of now, gold is holding and we have failed to create a new low in the market. Okay, you can see this is the previous low, lower high, lower low, previous low. Nothing is below this point besides the previous low. So as you can see, we closed bullish above it. So we are looking to have potential rejection to the upside here, where longs could be in play at this level to have the next bullish push. Kind of just waiting and watching. All right. That's what I have for you this week. I appreciate you all, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.